You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting The Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon.
We have a great update to share with you. It's been a while since we talked about the $1 Million Life Match. So joining us today, Deaconess Dr. Tiffany Manor, Director of LCMS Life Ministry. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's great to be with you.
And you brought a team member along with you.
I did. We have a Deaconess Intern serving with us again this year. So Nicole Chappell is along today.
Nicole, welcome to The Coffee Hour.
Thanks for having me.
Did you ever think your internship would involve sitting in a studio? And
No, not at all.
it's part of your initiation as an intern.
Thanks.
You're like, wow, I'm not sure if I signed up for this for internship. Right?
Don't you love it when your job description is and other responsibilities and duties as assigned? So
That's right. No, you'll learn The Coffee Hour is a fun place to be. So the $1 Million Life Match, we talked about that. It's been several months since we've talked about this.
yeah, I mean, we're coming up on a year, right? We announced it in December of 2021,
Wow.
rolled it out in January, and we're in our third phase now. So yeah, it's been a while since we caught up about it. So it's great. Thanks for the invitation to share what's happening.
So let's do a quick review for those who aren't familiar with the $1 Million Life Match, because I want to say March, but it's a match. So we'll talk about a life march in a little while as well.
Great.
A quick review. What's the purpose? What's the aim of this match?
Yeah, well, Christians have been caring for people in body and soul, for thousands of years. The church has throughout her history. And this is really to support the pro-life mercy work of local congregations and in their communities and expand their efforts and start new things. So it's not that this wasn't happening before. We knew it was. We knew, our congregations and Lutheran Church Missouri Synod are really active in caring for women, their children, the whole families when they have really difficulties at the beginning of life. And so this is an opportunity for all of us to stand together, to do more, to speak up for life, to confess what the church believes about God's value of all human life, and really to meet the needs that are unmet that might cause a woman to consider abortion, and instead the church can be there for her. So that's really it's a strong human care work, the church's mercy work, that we care for all people, and we have for hundreds, thousands of years.
What are some of the ministries that have been involved in this $1 Million Life Match?
Yeah, well, we've it's designed for LCMS congregations to apply for, and then also to work in partnership in their communities. So we see things like a congregation working with a pregnancy resource center, or a congregation partnering with a recognized service organization that walks alongside the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod and has the same theology that we have. And so in phase one, which was in the spring of 2021, we made 37 awards to congregations. And those awards are not just to one congregation. Congregations will also partner together. So you might have a whole circuit of congregations. I think the largest request was maybe 20 congregations that were partnering together and combining some funds, sometimes doing some fundraising, sometimes it's budget dollars of the congregation. And then they assess the needs of the community and find the partners who share our values, God's design for marriage and the family, and then determine, what do the people in our community need? So it's sometimes, a little bit of a gap analysis, what's not being done, or what can we strengthen and expand the capacity of. So phase one, 37 awards, and phase two, 48 awards. Oh. And again, that's, hundreds of LCMS congregations. But there's still more opportunity. So we're not done. We're just in the midst of this.
And we get to talk with one of those congregations in the next segment as well, and hear more about what they're doing to serve and meet those needs in their community. And I'm looking forward to that. A little bit more about what you hope congregations might accomplish. What are some of the project goals of some of the congregations that have applied for the match?
Yeah, so some of the way we're describing it is talking about these mercy efforts in close proximity to word and sacrament ministry. Well, that really means it's these human care efforts done by the local congregation with the people of God, the pastor and the lay people involved to provide care, but also to point to Christ. So in those ways, the projects we see congregations, providing care directly for families. There's some really great models out there. A number of churches do these breakfast with babies events where they have one day a month, say a Saturday morning or some other time frame that they identify that works for their community, where families come into the church itself and they might receive material goods like clothing, diapers, formula, baby supplies, cribs and toys and things like that. And then the congregation members are creating relationships with them, and they might have a Bible lesson for the siblings and even programs, and the pastor's there and he's able to pray with people who would like that. So those are some really great connections to the Word and Sacrament ministry. Also swaddling cloths. I mean, that's another program where a church kind of maintains a collection of clothing and other needs, and they distribute it to maybe a more regular relationship with some clients in the community. And I mean, that's really great too. We've seen some congregations have opportunity to baptize some of these children, and the kids start coming to Sunday school. So that's a really strong connection. And then there's other times where maybe there's a partnership with a recognized service organization to open a new maternity home. There's a new maternity home opening up in Northern Illinois district. There's a lot of partnering through the $1 Million Life Match and expanding the connections with the congregations to the recognized service organization and Redeeming Life outreach ministries and other existing maternity homes elsewhere in the U.S. as well. But we're seeing some connections with foster and adoption services, our recognized service organizations or other agencies, again, who share our values of the family of, one mother, one father, and their children. And so congregations might invite families to come in and receive meals to help manage all that goes on with having foster children and the type of care that these Christian families are providing. Or, maybe partnering with an agency to facilitate visitation in a neutral location on a church property for foster and families. So that's pretty creative. And I think there's probably other ideas out there that we'll be learning about in subsequent phases, in phase 3 and in phase 4 when that rolls out in the late spring. So we share these ideas so that the congregations can think about, what might my community need? How can I learn from what other LCMS congregations have done? It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, these are really amazing stories about what communities have been able to do and just to meet the needs around them. It's just so cool to hear once, because you've gone through 2 phases now, all of these new stories, and I've seen some of the maternity home stories it's just wonderful what people have been able to do with the $1 Million Match. So what opportunities, we're in phase 3 now, is that right?
Yeah, phase 3 applications open this month in December, and they're going to be open through January 22nd. So there's still time to get an application in for phase 3. You can just go to lcms.org/life and find the application and all of the supporting resources to help a congregation put together an application and prepare their project. And then in the spring, we'll have phase 4. So there's several more opportunities and some time to assess your community, see what the needs are, and figure out what your congregation has the ability to do and who you might partner with.
Nicole, as intern, you kind of get to see behind the scenes of how all this works. What have you been learning about life ministry across the synod and seeing congregations that have been applying for this? What are you learning about all the life ministry opportunities happening around the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod?
I think honestly, it's just been really cool to see all of the different ideas. I didn't realize that there were so many things happening. And going to school in the Northern Illinois district, I'd heard about Redeeming Life and was kind of connected that way. But to watch the growth of that has been really, really fun, and kind of seeing it from the backside of how things are working, and then seeing that all across the country has just been outstanding.
And I think one of the neat things about Redeeming Life is that they took a model from another site where they were doing that well, right? And then and built from that.
Well, another thing that's so exciting too is that the size of the congregation does not matter. So we've seen congregations start maternity homes, and they're congregations that have 40 to 50 people worshiping on a Sunday. So it doesn't have to be a mega church to be able to provide this really impactful ministry to their communities.
All right, before we wrap up, again, LCMS LCMS.org/life is where we can find the information on the $1 Million Life Match. It's so hard not to say March because I want to talk about March too.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get to that, anything else about the match before we talk about what's coming in 2023?
I think we've covered a lot, and there's so much more on the website. So definitely go to LCMS.org/life.
What should we be looking for in 2023 from LCMS Life Ministry?
Well, we're getting a lot of questions about that because people are like, okay, we've got Dobbs v. Jackson now. Roe v. Wade has been overturned. So, we don't need a march anymore. Oh, no, that's not true. There's still a lot to be done in pro-life work. And we're still marching in D.C. Now, there's going to be a slight change because there's still the possibility that federal legislation could occur. So we still need to continue to stand up for life and to make it clear that there are hundreds of thousands, millions of people across the United States that want to speak up for life from conception to natural death. So we're still marching in Washington, D.C. The slight change is it's going to end at the Capitol rather than the Supreme Court because we want to make sure that legislation is taking into consideration God's creation of life and value of life. And then also at the state level. So, we've got the National March for Life, but the state level marches are really important here too, and the advocacy at the state level. So, state marches all across the country. We've got a list up on our website. You could actually go to our resource website, which is LCMSlife.org. That's all together, and it links to LCMS.org as well. But we have a list of the marches and the ones that Lutherans are participating in, and we have a point person there, so you could register on that LCMSlife.org site to participate in a march in your state or in a city near you. You don't see one near you, and you know about one, and you're willing to be the point person. We'd love to put it up on the list and encourage other Lutherans to march alongside you. It's great. We can join together and meet up and march together in our lime green hats and have worship services and sing and confess the faith. But January is now not just the only month for life marches. They're going throughout the year in all kinds of places. So just be thinking all year long about how you can be speaking up for life. And even beyond the marches for life, we have in March, we got matches and marches, and then there's the month of March. But in the month of March, we have a life conference. It's going to be hybrid. It's going to be both virtual options and remote sites, and then here in St. Louis. So there's a lot going on the first part of the year.
So be watching LCMSlife.org as well for more information about what's going on with Life Ministry in the coming year.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, for joining us today. Thanks for being our guests on the Coffee Hour.
Thanks for having us. It's been a joy.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.